Water is life, and it's one of our most important resources, whether you are out in nature or at home. To ensure we always have clean, fresh water, we are installing this versatile filter system in our van. Here's everything you need to get started. Let me explain our tank filling process first. So we have a water source that is hooked up to our pump. That pump gets the water then into our source filter, a 20 and a 5 micron filter, before it finally goes into our tanks. We can choose if you want to fill one or if you want to refill both tanks. Then the tap filtration process is as simple. We have our UVC unit additionally, and then the water goes from our tanks or from one tank into the pump, into our tap filter that is a 2 micron and an activative carbon filter. After that it goes into the UVC unit before we can finally drink it. That was the theory behind our water system. I would say we jump right into all the tools needed to get your water ready for your next trip. Some 5-inch water filter housings, along with some high quality stainless steel fittings, including shutoff valves, wire connectors, and barbed hose fittings, some hose clamps, aluminum profiles, the water pump, an electric box, and a hose, manometer, the UVC unit, and the components to attach it. I've already prepared all the threads. That means I had to wrap some hemp around the thread in the tightening direction, then applied a bit of sealant, and then I tightened the fitting, and you're all set. In the back of our van, we find quite an accessible space where we can install the water filter housings, one on top, one on the bottom. The one on the top is to refill the water tank, and the one on the bottom is to filter the water from the tank. Next, we prepared the wood with some beeswax and then used M4 nuts to secure the water filter. We then fitted and secured the board with the water filter at the back of the van and mounted the other filter above it. Next, the manometer and the aluminum bars come into play. I mark the position of the manometer, and then I drill there 2 holes for the hose clamps. I position the manometer in the back so it lines up with the intake of the water filter and also the exit of the water pump. And then I just simply fix it there. So like this. Fits nicely. Here you can see the top of our 2 60-liter water tanks. We want to install on top 2 sets of shutoff valves. One set is to refill our water tanks, and the other one is to take the water from the water tanks. Melanie shows now how to put the position to refill both water tanks. For this we open both shutoff valves, and then the water will flow towards the back and to the other tank in the front, or we close one shutoff valve, then we would only refill the tank in the back. The same principle is for the other set in the front. Here we can only decide if you want to take the water from the back tank or the one in the front. To fix everything on top of the tank without having to drill through the tank, we had the good idea to glue that piece of plywood on top. We protected one side of the board with some beeswax. We spared the other side because this is the side that has to be glued on top of the tank. Here we have some M4 bolts and self-securing nuts. Now we can secure the aluminum profiles nicely on top of that board. Alright, we can finally install our 2 shut-off valves on top of that board. We just follow the same principle as we already did for the manometer, with the hose clamps and the hole in the aluminum profile. Then we mark the position of the board on top of the water tank. Sandpaper everything, clean it, put some primer, and finally glue the board on top. Next I'm going to mark the position for the elbow nozzle on the water tank. Once I've marked the location, I will drill a hole that matches the size of the nozzle. After drilling, I insert the elbow nozzle securely into the tank. With the nozzle in place, I will then connect the hose to the shut-off valve, making sure everything is tightly sealed for a leak-proof fit. After we have secured the tanks in position, we are ready to make the connections. First we connect the water filter to the shut-off valve. Next we link the 2 tanks with hoses on top, allowing for flexibility. This setup lets us choose whether to fill both tanks and or take water from one or both, depending on our needs. Ta-da! It's time for the pump. Now we position the pump inside the van, and Melanie cut some short pieces of water hose to connect the pump to the system.
This is a little bit too big. What did you cut? You can make a wave.
Then I fix the UVC unit under the bed. The space is a bit tight, but it fits perfectly there. To prepare the hoses, I connect the push-fit fittings to the hose ends and inserted them into the UVC unit. Important, don't forget the red safety ring, it locks the connection securely in place. After that, I connected the outlet of the unit to the Y piece, which splits the flow. One lane goes to the back of the van for our shower, the other to the tap. To stay safe, I placed a water leak detector under the unit. This way I will hear if there's ever a leak. And finally I wired everything up. I won't go into detail on the wiring, but I added 2 switches. One at the back of the van and one inside, so we can easily control the pump from both places. Let's go and see this whole setup in action. Right, this is the setup. When we want to get some water, for example we have this one, it's very difficult to attach anything to this water source. So we have our little bucket with our hose, attached to it a little sieve to filter. Then it goes to this first junction, and then we go from here directly to the pump, from the pump up, and there's just a rough filtration 20 and 5 microns, and then it goes into here in the front. Now I turn on the pump and you can see the water goes here. And it goes inside the tank. Yeah. Here's the reason why we installed the manometer, because if those filters are clogged because maybe the water that we get is not a beautiful source like we're having now, then we can see it here, and then we have to change the filters. Let me put the see, but it's getting full. Here you can see it bubbling on top. When I want to take the water, I will open this shut-off valve. The water will flow towards the pump. I turn off the one on top, because this is the one to refill. And I change for the one on the bottom. And now I can start the pump. And have a look at the manometer. There was already water in the filters, so you won't see that running through. But now I can just go into the front and show you how much water is flowing. That is all you need to know to get fresh, clean water from your tap. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and see you in the next one. Bye bye.